May I remind you that trading is risky and not suitable for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Welcome to QuantBox Daily. Today is Thursday, April 13th. QuantBox, your global macroeconomic quant-in-a-box. By now, you know exactly what this tool is. We speak about it every single day. We've been doing this webinar now for quite some time. For those of you who have not signed up to QuantBox yet, you might want to have a gander at what you're missing out on. So when you're trading and you start off with your trading, how do you know whether you're buying or selling? If you're basing everything on technicals, how do you know which direction the market's going to run for the long term? Now, of course, there's situations where technically the market can tell you if you're trading if you're trading trends. But what happens if the market's consolidating? What's your view on longer term biases? See, QuantBox is a tool that gives you that. QuantBox collates COT data, retail sentiment, fundamental data, and seasonality into one beautiful tool that gives you a fundamental bias with a score that you can then use with technicals to have an edge on the market. A 1 week trial is just 790. What's funny about traders is that they'll happily lose money in the markets, but they won't invest in a tool like this. Actually, this is quite a popular tool. I'm just saying, like, traders who rather waste money in trading through gambling rather than having the tools that help them become successful traders. That's a really strange perspective. I mean, you would never, ever run any kind of business without tools and equipment, right? You wouldn't run a shop you wouldn't sell things in a shop without having a shop. You wouldn't run an online store without having a laptop. So I really think that if you're a trader, you should definitely have a fundamental bias. The beautiful thing about QuantBox is it gives you everything that you need. You can see here's a score chart summary with all the pairs that we can trade. Okay. Majority of them are neutral, which means we're leaving those alone. You can see the cells down here give us a score, a negative score, which tells us how negative and how bearish these pairs are. Aussie USD is still coming up the most bearish out of everything. Above here, USD ZAR coming up the most bullish above everything. Okay, let's go through the bullish pairs. So strong by USD ZAR, strong by Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Let's have a look and see. So USD ZAR, we've spoken about USD ZAR. This is a pair we were looking at last week, which we got into down here. Let's take a look. Got into down here. Currently consolidating up here. Now, I don't like the buy up here. I said this yesterday. I don't like the buy up here. You definitely wanted to get in down here. This was last week. We spoke about this. Right now, you're completely out of position. So down here in position, beautifully in position, off of a higher low. This is where you wanted to get in. Right now, horribly out of position. But what QuantBox is telling you is let the winner run. Okay. Looking at the Swiss franc, Japanese yen, a pair I don't really trade that often because it's two safe havens together. We can take a look at it. So looking at our Swiss franc, Japanese yen. One, two, three. All right. Now, again, I'm not a fan of buying over here. If I was trading Swiss franc, Japanese yen, I would have bought it over here last week. And this is where we are right now. Not going to touch this, not with the barge pole. Interesting enough, if you look at your yen pairs, okay, one thing you can also pay attention to is the seasonality. We spoke about this yesterday, and we spoke about the fact that you can see there's April, there's May, there's June, there's July, there's August. So from April all the way down to August, usually we get yen strength, okay? That's usually what happens. You can see it's across the board. Swiss franc, Japanese yen is no different. Although the thing is, the Swiss gets strong and the Japanese yen gets strong. So I don't like the Swiss franc, Japanese yen pair, okay, because of that. You can see there's definitely a trade here, but I'd far rather trade something that's getting strong against something that's getting weak and vice versa. Let's take a look at our yen pairs. So Aussie yen coming through the bias of neutral right now, but our focus is on buying yen if we get the setups from April through to third week of August, around there, okay? So taking a look at Aussie yen over here, let's have a look-see. So Aussie yen currently sitting over there, not doing much, okay? We got this higher low over here, okay, which doesn't bode well. You can see price breaks into the range, comes back down, tests the bottom of that range, and is now coming up. So things you're paying attention to now, pay attention to the fact that price comes up, hits the 55, doesn't make a lower low, doesn't make a double bottom, just makes this higher low, Currently, your view on Aussie yen is currently bullish. Okay. That's absolutely correct. However, you are paying attention to resistance like that. Right now, right now on the daily time frame, you're going to let this set up. Okay. If we take a look at the CAD yen, also, again, yen strength predicted from a seasonality perspective for the next couple of months. Taking a look at your CAD yen over here, we can see over here, we've got price coming off this support, coming up into this resistance over here, this higher low telling us the price is going to break through this resistance. However, you could pay attention to that over there. I think we did look at this. We said yesterday we'd like to see CAD yen breaking support and support becoming resistance before we sell this. Well, that hasn't happened. Okay. On an M15 time frame, we didn't get that either. Okay. You can see there. So we're waiting for this to set up on the H4 time frame. Okay. In the meantime, though, you got to buy. You can't buy this right now in terms of where you are. You would have bought this down here, or you would have bought this down here, or even in position over here. This wasn't really in position. Could have front run this last week for this week, but here you are over here. Okay. So leaving that alone, taking a look at the euro yen. Also currently neutral, but from a seasonality perspective, we're looking for yen strength in April. So you can see they're currently at the top of this range. Now, at the top of this range and also the profit-taking zone, paying attention to, has price broken support, has support become resistance? Okay. And be that on the H4 time frame or the H1 time frame, you're looking for that break of 55, come back up, double top or lower high. If you get the double top, then lower low, lower high, take the lower high. If you get a lower high, then form a lower low and take the second lower high. Okay. Right now, you've got no indication of bearishness. Okay. Groovy. And then pound yen coming through with a buy. Also, you can see there's your seasonality. So pound yen. You can also see right now not presenting any bearishness as yet. Okay, so that seasonal play is not currently in play, but you have got resistance levels that you're paying attention to. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Then Kiwi yen coming through neutral. Okie dokie. Kiwi yen. And that's a sideways chart over there. Now, there's nothing saying bearish at the moment. Looking at the H4 time frame, look at that volatility. What we're looking for here, and again, the fundamentals don't say bearish, but look at how much bearish data there is there. Okay, plus seasonality perspective, right? Drop this into a range. Now, of course, if price breaks up higher, that's fine. We look for opportunities higher up, but you're looking for that lower low, lower high to confirm that you can then go ahead and sell this. Okay, we do prefer to sell high though, so keep an eye on that. Outside of that, looking at our score chart summary, we've covered most of the yen pairs. Okay, taking a look at the Swissy pairs. So Euro Swissy, you can see they're seasonally coming all the way down. That's across the board in the Swissy. So take a look at the Swiss franc Japanese yen, Swiss franc pairs. Take a look at the Swiss franc pairs. So here's Aussie Swissy. You can see they're very bearish. CAD Swissy, well, sideways. Okay. Euro Swissy, sideways. Pound Swissy, sideways. So lots to pay attention to there in terms of price breaking out or even price making a lower high inside the range. Okay. Now, from a dollar pair perspective, you can see here in terms of our dollars, we can look at dollar pairs. So euro dollar. You can see that we have seasonality tells us that dollar weakens during this time. You can see pound dollar also May, June. Just looking at euro dollar over here. Yeah, you can see dollar weakening over there. USD CAD will go the opposite direction, of course. March, April, May. Aussie USD, March, April, May, June. And then Kiwi dollar, March, April, May, June. Okay. So looking at those, Aussie USD, now of course, fundamentally, Aussie USD is currently bearish, no doubt about that. And if that's the game you're playing and you are selling because of that, well then fantastic, you got in over here. Aussie USD, you got in over here last week when we spoke about this. Okay. If you're looking for bullishness on Aussie USD, then you could potentially have gotten in here yesterday. Now, I honestly and truly prefer this no longer behaving like a range. Looking at the H4 time frame, no higher highs and higher lows. I'd like to see a higher high. If I'm buying this from a seasonal perspective, I'd like to see a higher high, higher low. If I'm selling this, I'd like to see a lower low, lower high. Otherwise, you're going to get the thing where you sell over here and it comes all the way back up to you. Some kind of indication of trend. Looking at your euro dollar, you can see we're currently up here at the top of this range. Okay, so everything's still bullish, still going ahead. And no indication of bearishness, but you are aware of the fact that this is not behaving like a normal bullish trend. Okay, and you can't buy over here. Buying over here, buying over here, buying down here. All of that makes sense. Okay, buying over here, you do not want to buy over here. In terms of selling over here, if you want to sell over there for whatever reason, you need a lower low, lower high. Now, if this over here formed a lower low, lower high, let's say the price closed at this resistance. If that forms a lower low, get the next lower high. But be careful because you want to make sure it's bearish across the board. Make sure it's bearish in all time frames. Okay. Could that be the end of the bullishness on euro dollar? Seasonality says no. Seasonality says that price is going up until July. Okay. Let's go on to the next dollar pair. So that's euro dollar. Then we've got pound dollar over here. You can see they're still bullish. Kiwi dollar. Okay, we've got this little higher low over here. And with support left-hand side. Is that something that you can trade? Do you have higher highs and higher lows in the M15 time frame? Not fantastically in position. Okay, down here would have been better. The problem is you can see that price ranged, broke out, pulled back, didn't really get a proper pullback to support. Although better buying down here than buying where you are here. So you're going to wait for the breakout, wait for the pullback. Okay, if you are buying this in line with seasonality. And then USD CAD for the sell. You can see you're completely out of position there. And then USD's off for the buy. We spoke about this already. You bought down there last week. So right now, your dollar pairs are currently in play. The pairs that you really are paying attention to are your yen pairs in terms of opportunities to get these down for seasonal players. But you need them to be at resistance and you need price to be bearish. So be patient for that. Wait for that. It could be a trade you stay in for a couple of months. Okay. Or it could be a dud. That's trading. But ultimately, you decide what you win and lose because you verify your trades and you only get into the trades that make sense both fundamentally and technically. Be patient, be disciplined, stay liquid, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.